Hello everyone, it's me, Demented Ghastly here, and I figured out the Todrama timeline, the official one. I figured it out. Now, you may be wondering, why did you do that? Well, it's because the TISM told me to. So anyway, we have that. So let's go over this. So a common misconception is... Here, I'm gonna make myself smaller real quick, so that this looks better. That Todrama Island took place, and this is the in-canon timeline, by the way. This isn't, like, anything different. It took place in 2007. Well, you're wrong. You're actually wrong. And the reason for that, and by the way, I did make a community post about this, but the reason is, you know, because I wanted to get this out there and wanted to get a video out there. Also subscribe, because I am your new favorite Todrama VTuber and your only Todrama VTuber. So, here's hoping you enjoy this video. Let's get straight into it. So, the reason that 2007 isn't the right time is because of this. 2008 A Space Owen. Why would they choose that time? Maybe it's because the season came out in 2008? Well, yeah, but it actually makes more sense for it to come out in 2008. Well, that the original was... or the original season took place in 2008. So, other people may be wondering who haven't learned about certain stuff. They're like, what do you mean 2008? Wouldn't this island usually, or wouldn't Todrama Island still be, sorry, I'm starting over my words here because use so much brain power. Me no have word good. So, Todrama Island is 8 weeks during the summer, and 2008 Space Owen featuring 2008 in its title meaning that is probably in 2008. Meanwhile, action only takes place 2 days after Island finishes, so it is also in 2008. So there. We have now determined Todrama Island is in 2008. All the teenagers are 16. We move on to action, 2 days after. Everyone is 16. We have moved on to World Tour. They each start turning 17, with Cody being the April Fool who turns 17. Todrama World Tour. There's a 1 year gap between action and World Tour. This gives Heather time for hair to grow back. This gives time for everyone to have their weird game shows and stuff like that. And it actually helps the timeline along that this is where the year goes. So this is 2009. People are turning 17. And we'll get back to why the year is between these ones. So, we move on to Revenge of the Island. Revenge of the Island takes place in the same year. Now, you may be wondering, what do you mean, Demented Ghastly? Why would it take place in the same year? Because if it, like, took a whole nother year, then Alejandro would say he spent 2 years inside of that robot suit healing. Instead, he says 1. Also... we know that surely Revenge of the Island would have to take place closer to World Tour than we would think it would, because Chris McLean needs time to go insane in prison, Scott needs time to heal from his trauma chair, and, you know, all that other sort of stuff. But we officially know that there is not too much time that we need here, so there can't be a gap between World Tour and AllStars that's big, as this corrects it. So next we have AllStars. There is the 1-year gap. So we are now in 2010. All the characters are likely, or all Gen 1 characters are likely 18. Characters in Revenge are 16. So yes, it is a little bit of a weird relationship between Courtney and Scott. At least it's only 2 and not further, because my original thought was 19, and so that would have been a little bit much. At least I think that was my original theory, I can't remember it. So next we have Pakato Island seems to take place a year after AllStars. So it's in 2011. Why? Because Chris took a lot of time to essentially rebuild what he had with the people who made the show, the producers and all that stuff. That's the in-canon reason, but because we're gonna have to take a look at something. All the characters are 18, right? Well, now we go to Redonkulus Race. In Redonkulus Race, Leonard is 16 and Noah is 19, which means that due to Redonkulus Race happening at the same time, or in the same year as Pakato Island, it means that Noah and the others are all canonically 19 at this point. So, now that we have that, we don't have to worry about anything that would contradict things of the past. We exactly know that the characters would be 19. So next we have the reboot. The reboot takes place 15 years after the show originally aired, meaning that it is 2008, or it takes place 15 years from the original first episode. That's what Chris says, right? It's from the original first season, the first episode. Meaning that is 2008 plus 15 for the 15 years after the show originally aired, which means that is 2023, which lines up perfectly where, in real life, the show came out in 2023. That's why it's called Todrama Reboot 2023. The Reboot Season 2, it takes place a year after Reboot Season 1, as it was stated in the show, if I remember correctly. And then that would mean that Gen 1 is 32 years old. 16, the original age, plus the 16 years, due to it being the 15 plus another year. So Ezekiel has been on that island for a long time. Here's hoping he does make it into a CEO. Also, a little fun fact, Chris McLean is originally said to be 25 years old in a demo script for Not So Happy Campers, and says he is 30 in Pakato Island. Take that however you want, because demos don't mean anything, and this isn't about you, Chris. Okay. Oh yeah, and as for the ages, Terry McGurran said in 2024, the staff rarely focuses on details such as how much the characters age in between seasons. According to him, Heather, and most likely all of her peers, was still a teenager by the time AllStars aired. So yeah, essentially nothing, none of the research I did matters. Nothing ever mattered. This was all, good for the one member, who probably won't watch this video because they're not interested in Todrama, but, you know, if they're interested in seeing me autistic rant, then sure, let's go. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to go outside, compliment someone's hair, and finally, make the world a little bit of a better place.